welcome again to another podcast by Centre for Inner Sciences. We're really pleased because we're together again. This time it's myself and Jeff, and we have a very special guest with us all the way from America. Saying hello to Kamini.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. It's a good morning for you. Yes, indeed. It's afternoon here in the UK. It's so lovely to finally speak with you, as we were discussing. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences.
No, we're really, really thrilled to have you on board finally. So tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? How are you doing today?
It depends which chair I'm sitting on. If I'm with my grandson, I'm a grandmother, right?
Right, exactly.
If I'm in office, then of course I'm running a small plastic business.
Yeah.
And I've been in USA for about 41 years now.
Okay.
And that's all you need to know. I have 3 children and 2 wonderful grandchildren.
Oh, that's
That
amazing. That's amazing. Brilliant. Fantastic. And how, so today there's a specific reason why we're chatting. It's obviously to share our views and opinions, but there's also a special occasion coming up, which is the World Thalassemia Day on the 8th of May. Am I correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And I have been associated with thalassemia for almost as many years as I've been in USA. Unfortunately, both my husband and myself were carriers. So when both parents are carrier, there is 1 in 4 chances that your child could have what is called a major thalassemia, which is a blood disorder where your bone marrow at infancy does not convert the chains into adult hemoglobin chains, and therefore the child's body remains even during the adult as a child. So there is deficiency of hemoglobin. So
Right.
These children who are born with thalassemia probably could generate up to 7, 8, no more than that, hemoglobin per gram.
I see. Okay. And hemoglobin is obviously very essential to our survival,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
That's correct. That's correct.
I know I understand very little about biology, I must admit, but I think it's important for oxygen supplied to your body and for you to feel energetic, for your brain to feel like you can think and function normally.
That's correct. Those are all the things that are very, very important for our growth, both physically, mentally, and as well as functioning.
Yeah.
So if you don't have energy, then obviously you're very weak and you can't do anything. And that's how we actually found out when my daughter was about a year old. She just did not, she had a fever and then she couldn't shake the fever, so we had to take her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was leukemia.
Okay.
Because in America, Indian population, number 1, was not good in numbers, so people were not aware of, the local physician did not know what the traits of Indians are.
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, this thalassemia is also known as Cooley's anemia or Mediterranean anemia.
Okay.
So it's common in Italian, Greek,
Right.
and Cyprus, that
Right.
area. So the doctors were not able to tell me for almost 6 months.
Oh,
so there is a special test called electrophoresis,
Mm-hmm.
which is the way you diagnose whether you have thalassemia or not.
Okay.
So that's what happened 40 years ago almost. And we went to a special oncology unit at New York Hospital, Cornell Medical Center.
Right.
And they were able to diagnose that Gargi, my oldest daughter, was born with thalassemia.
All right. That's a shame. So she's about a year and a half old, I assume, at this point, 2 years old, when you find out.
She was about a year old.
Right, okay, about a year old. And so
Yeah.
that's when you found out. Then how was your life after that? Because that must have changed a lot of things for you and her life as well and yours.
Yes, she basically was normal growth, except that the bones did not grow that at the normal rate.
Right.
So you could see some of the features in her face. The forehead was flat, and the nose was flatter than the normal children.
Right.
Other than that, she really looked fine, behaved fine. And by the time she was about 2.5, we began to feel that her hemoglobin level was not keeping up with her size and weight.
Right.
So that's when we had to start her on transfusions.
I see.
So
Okay.
she was about 2.5. That was the only way for survival.
Right. Okay.
She was on constant transfusion on a regular basis every 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it took.
Right.
Since she was 2.5.
Okay, and that must have been quite a commitment. And how did she carry on with the life? Did she still continue with the regular activities, social, educational, these commitments?
As long as your hemoglobin is maintained around 10, 11, sometimes even 9, some children can take that, you are as normal as the next child. So
Right.
you can carry on with everything except that you have to go for transfusions.
Yeah.
And what happens is multiple transfusions then create a overburden in your body system of the iron.
Yeah.
Because number one, your body is producing iron.
Right.
And then all the blood transfusions that you getting, they also create iron in your body. So around 5 or so, she had to start on what is called a chelating therapy.
I see.
Which
okay.
is to extract the iron out of your body.
Right.
And the only way to do that in the late 70s was through a subcutaneous pump which ran all night. So that was the only physical and the painful end of it, that she had to at least 4 or 5 days a week use a pump to give herself a subcutaneous medicine called despiroxime.
I see.
And that would help her chelate the iron out of her body.
I see. So that is quite.
Posed a lot of social problems because she couldn't go for sleepovers.
Yeah.
And of course it was painful at night to sleep. The pump used to be about 2 by 6 inches and all hard. So what I did was made a cushy cover for it, all those kind of things. But she had a very good support system. I took her to New York Hospital.
That's good.
And I think I was the only Indian mother at that time. There were about 150 patients, all Italian, Greek, and Cyprus, Mediterranean origin.
Right.
And they had actually formed this Cooley's Anemia Foundation at that time when I met them.
Right, okay.
And they were, so if you can go to the website, you can know about them too. But that was a good support system for us.
Oh, that's excellent. I think it helps to have something that gives you the support to come back, because I can imagine it drains a lot out of you to do something like this continuously every day. Like you said, it is disruptive to your social life and many other things. So it's amazing what you've been through. And how do you think things have changed now after so many years? Like you said, you were the only Indian, and back in the day, the only Indian mother who had to deal with it.
Good part is that there have been a very concerted effort to continue to find a cure. Even 35 years ago, the cure was bone marrow transplant.
Right.
Okay, but that was again 35 years ago or 30 years ago even, bone marrow was not a sure success. It was 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, you had to have a perfect HLA match.
Right.
That means it has to be your sibling or something. Otherwise, you will end up with a graft versus host disease and, of course, complications.
Right. Okay.
Gargi, fortunately, was matched with her sister at the age of 7. But unfortunately, we also found out that during 1984, she had received a HIV-infected blood at New York Hospital.
Oh dear.
Okay.
That's quite...
So, so at the age of 7, I found out that she was 9 or 7, I don't remember, but she was infected with HIV. And this happened to almost 20 patients in that clinic because they were on regular transfusion every 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so that reason alone made it very impossible. So she was taken off the list for a bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
Because not very much was known in the 1983.
No.
It was a taboo. In fact, I still remember when I was told, I don't think I fathomed the impact of that because I had no knowledge what it means. All I knew was, okay, she has one more thing. I'm not going to worry about it now because it's not going to affect her now. And I will just live as if there is no other cure. So there is cure. Then what else has happened is over the years, the desferoxamine, the chelating agents have become more. Nowadays, you can have oral chelating agent. So we have come a long way from the subcutaneous to now oral agents for chelation.
Right.
Yeah.
Third thing is, there are about 7 centers of excellence in USA which monitor these kids on an annual basis. So any complication that could occur, which usually does occur because of the iron overload at different organs, your liver can fail, your spleen can fail, your heart can accumulate it. Those things have been really over the years treated very well.
Right.
So side effects of the blood transfusions have been trying to be minimized as much as possible.
That's good.
On the diagnostic side, though, there are methods. Obviously, a few years ago, it used to be amniocentesis,
Right.
which was very, very dangerous for the baby as well as for the mom. But you could only do it at the 16 weeks of your pregnancy. But these days now it's much easier. Those things have been mastered. So the diagnosis is very very accommodating. It's not as invasive as it used to be.
Okay, that's good.
And then there is a lot of education.
Exactly. And it's quite interesting because we're nearing the Thalassemia Day on the 8th of May. I must highlight, Centre for Inner Sciences wants to raise awareness for anything that matters in the improvement of the general well-being of the world. You could say whether it's spiritual, it's mental, physical, and this is very relevant to us, especially Jeff, because Jeff is the health advisor. He gets a lot of questions asked about how to work out, about exercise, good health, healthy habits, vegetarian food, because people have preconceptions about vegetarians don't get their protein, and how to balance your diet, etc., etc. And this is very relevant because we need to raise awareness about so many issues. And especially in the UK, a lot of funding for charities goes about for cancer research, for example. These things attract a lot of attention, but I think thalassemia is one of those diseases that doesn't get that much attention. A lot of people don't even know what it is. And I think you're right when you said it's very Mediterranean, because it's that part of the belt, the South Asian and Cyprus and Italy, where this disease
and North Africa as well. The general theory is that thalassemia actually gives you a certain resistance to malaria. That's why it tends to pop up in a lot of places that there are malarial issues. And obviously with the increased immigration in the UK, over the years from countries that have that malarial issue, it does mean that it's become more of an issue in the UK as well. So it's something that we could do with raising more awareness of.
Yeah, so it's really good that we're able to tally it, and you mentioned to me that there is an event tomorrow in London over here that we should know about.
Yes, there is a care walk organized for, again, fundraising, and London has a big thalassemia center. The Thalassemia International Federation
Right.
was led by people in the UK for a long time.
Right.
And I think these days somebody in the Middle East is leading it.
Okay.
At one time it was being led by Indian physicians. So there has been so much awareness. This basically, again, going back to educating people that just like any other genetic disorder, if you know it before you plan to have children, it always helps because they are raised to really work around it for the sake of the children.
Exactly.
And the parents, because the life does become tough.
I can
Every 2
imagine.
weeks going for transfusion,
No.
spending a day of your life in the hospital is not fun. It's
No.
not fun for
Definitely.
little children. And so there is care walk all over the countries. I don't know how many countries are involved in the International Federation, but London is, and I don't know where the place is. I wish I could tell you where the walk is taking place.
That's
but
fine.
definitely in New York, Chicago, as well as San Francisco, Richmond, Philadelphia, Atlanta is another center. So all the major centers, because the children and the patients are very aware and they want to spread the message. So that's what everybody is doing to raise funds for both the diagnosis, cure, and ultimate elimination of thalassemia.
Exactly, that's fantastic. The walk is happening tomorrow, which is the 4th of May. It's happening at the Alexandra Palace in North London. If anyone is interested, I would urge you do go register yourself. It's only 2 hours long. It's going to include a 5-kilometer circuit and a 10-kilometer circuit, and just show your support. And if you don't want to walk, you can still there and cheer for people, as long as the word spreads. I think that's very important, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
Well,
The reason is that I emphasize, and I have had the opportunity, that the Mediterranean population in America, through their education over the last 40 years, have almost eliminated the occurrence. Whereas it is still happening with the Indian, Pakistani, Chinese, again, the stigma involved with it, and also not having resources to reach out to other people. So I really appreciate your doing this, and I hope that you both have wonderful time doing what you're doing, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
No, thank you
Thank
so
you for
much
joining us.
Thank you for joining us. It's been so lovely to talk to you, and I hope we can chat again. Thank you for joining us, and have a lovely day. Take care. Bye. Well, that was a really lovely chat we had with Carmini all the way from America. She had some really good inputs to make with regards to the information we need to share actively in order to prevent something that is thalassemia. Like she said, many countries have eliminated it, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, some countries are doing better than others. For example, Cyprus used to have one of the biggest concentrations of thalassemia sufferers in the world, but through birth screening, making sure that everyone's aware of it and tested so they know whether they're carriers, because a lot of people carry the genes for thalassemia but they might not express it in actual symptoms. They might not even know they're a carrier. Through testing and increased awareness, they've almost eliminated it in the younger generations. Like, very few people are born with thalassemia in Cyprus now. So it's taken it right from being the highest concentration in the world to almost eliminated. It is possible. It's just about making sure that everyone knows about it.
Exactly. And I think a day like tomorrow would be a great opportunity to spread the word for people to actually find out more about how to deal with it, how to prevent it altogether. So come along if you can tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Alexandra Palace in North London. And there will be more details on Jeff's blog, who's going to be typing it away right now. And yes, 8th of May is Thalassemia Day, so keep your eyes and ears open. Spread the word. Have a good day.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.